Some suspects linked to the Soweto tavern massacre have been traced to a neighbouring country. The police are yet to reveal which country it is. In July, people arrived at the tavern in a taxi and randomly started shooting at patrons, killing over a dozen people. Gauteng Police Commissioner says 5 suspects have been identified. Our reporter Silindelo Masikane has been following this story and joins us now for more. Sli, law enforcement agencies were out in their numbers today, but of course what we want to know is how far are investigations into the tavern shootings and when can we expect arrests?
Certainly so. So we were out in Ekurhuleni in Benoni today, where we actually door-stopped the police commissioner and his deputy, who is actually the one leading investigations into the Nomzamo tavern shooting in particular. And this is because out of all the spate of tavern shootings here in Gauteng, arrests in that particular matter are still outstanding. This massacre essentially occurred on the 10th of July, and up until today, we still have 0 arrests in connection with this particular shooting, and more than a dozen people died. They've already been buried. Loved ones are still asking themselves exactly what the motive of these shootings was, and really police have been really quite mum, keeping their cards quite close to their chest, not wanting to really give us information with regards to these investigations. But this week, we got a hint, essentially, from the legislature when the Premier addressed members of the Gauteng legislature, informing them of developments around how law enforcement is trying to curb crime in the province, as well as investigations into the tavern shootings. And this is where we found out that not only were suspects linked to a SADC country, tracked and traced to one specific SADC country. At this point, we still don't know which one it is, and police don't want to really reveal it. But we were then also told that these suspects are said to be former police members as well as defense force members from their particular country. But let's just take a listen to what the Gauteng Police Commissioner had to say to me during the Ukai Mula operations in Ekurhuleni.
Yeah, my detectives are doing very well, obviously led by my deputy here, Major General Kumalo. They've identified those who are responsible or those who perpetrated these crimes. And they even approached the court. We got the J50, the warrant of arrest for those individuals. We know that those people, they've left the country. And my deputy here, he also went and discussed with his counterpart in that country, because of we do have the bilateral relations with the countries around here. We also have the SARCO team, which is working together with all the law enforcement agencies in the SARCO region. So the guys have been identified. He have conveyed the message to his counterpart in that country. We don't want to reveal it now. And as soon as the colleagues have done their part, that other side, obviously we do have the extradition agreement with those countries. We also have the mutual legal assistance with those countries. We won't have a challenge to can bring them over to come and stand trial once being arrested in those countries.
Police staying mum on the country of origin for these suspects, but have you gotten any actionable intel on a country of origin for these suspects that Police Commissioner Elias Mawela was talking about, their bilateral relations and negotiations in terms of trying to get access to those suspects?
Yeah, so I have been trying to get some information around which particular SADC country this could be. Sources are telling me there is a strong possibility that it could be Lesotho, but of course at this point, because it's unconfirmed, I wouldn't want to suggest that it could be. But those are the rumors as well, where it's said to that there is a strong possibility that these suspects are from that particular country. So I think as soon as we have that official confirmation, I think then we can certainly then try and push the police in terms of then seeing when these arrests are going to be made. We know, like I've said, that the Deputy Police Commissioner is the one who is in touch with his counterparts in that SADC country. Let's take a listen to what he had to say.
The total is 5, the suspects that we are looking for. But I'm not going to reveal, like my provincial commissioner, the country. But it is true that 2 of the suspects is a member from that country, and also the member from the defense force, also from the country.
All right. So we can confirm it's one country?
Yes, one country.
All right. And in terms of bringing them back, how close are we in terms of this extradition treaty?
We are communicating with the officials from that country. The warrant of arrest were forwarded, so we are waiting for the feedback from them to tell us that they've come right.
We saw a spate of tavern shootings happening roughly at about the same time for a while. I think it was about 4 weeks. There was one every weekend, and communities were very fearful. What is the Community Safety MEC saying?
Yeah, the Community Safety MEC was really echoing what the Nomzamo community in particular is calling for, which is, of course, speedy arrests in this matter, because you would know that while people died in that tavern, there were survivors, and these survivors could possibly then form state witnesses in the trial, and with the suspects still on the loose, they are fearing for their lives. They're not too sure whether they are safe, but still residing in Nomzamo. We had an opportunity to speak to one in particular yesterday who was recounting that horrific day and just what happened when the gunfire began, and how they had to use the benches in the tavern to shield themselves from the bullets, saying that it is quite a surprise for himself that he is still alive to be able to tell the story. So the Community Safety MEC was really just echoing those sentiments from the community, because there are, of course, families that also want to see those who are responsible for the deaths of their loved ones being brought to book. Let's take a listen.
Police are still doing their investigation. There was a footage that they were able to find that can actually assist them to identify the suspects, and so far they are working flat out in ensuring that arrests are done in relation to that shooting. At least with the Katlehong one, it has been resolved. Suspects have been found. One of them is an EMPD officer who was found transporting the very same people with Mamelodi. There has been arrest, but this one in Nomzamo, which is very serious because many people actually died. 15 people died there. That's why the police, in fact, are holding them accountable. When are they making arrests? Because they've got all the evidence now. Theirs is just to act. Finish and clear.
Well, thank you very much. That was our reporter Silindelo Masikane bringing us an update on that Nomzamo tavern shooting.